Hello everyone, welcome to the Mary's Helm channel. It's me, Nikeo, and I am here to shape up your day with a little bit of positivity. So, have you ever heard the saying that you should never ask a woman her age? Have you heard this before? Well, guess what? I'm not going to have you ask me because I'm going to tell you. And the reason I'm going to tell you is because today I want to talk to you about timelines and how sometimes we have this mindset that things should happen in a set amount of time or in a certain order or a certain way. And when it doesn't go according to plan, then we're all upset. Yes, but today I want to talk to you about timelines. And so it's important to me that I tell you my age, okay? So I will be 44 at the end of this month. Now, when you think about timelines, like most people, when you're thinking about people in their 40s, you might be thinking that they're well established, things like this, like they have children who are about to graduate or older children, things like this. They've been married for a while or they're establishing their careers and things like this. Yes? Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about my story, all right? I did not get married until I was 40 years old. And it's funny, I joke around with my friends and I say, yeah, just like the Israelites wandered the desert for 40 years, I was wandering around for 40 years before I found the right person, right? And so I got started later in life. And then not only did I get married later in life, I was also told when I finally got married, when I say I was told by doctors, okay, I have like a medical report that I was unable to have children because I had waited so long in my life to finally have children. And I was past the childbearing age. They gave me all the test results. They were like, the best I could do is maybe try in vitro, but that might not even work. You can even consider adoption, but yeah, you can't have any children on your own. So that's what was told to me. And I was so like distraught, like being newly married, and just feeling, honestly, I just felt a little bit like I would say like a failure of a woman. How am I finally married after so long and then like I can't even have children? And for a long time, I didn't even know that I wanted children at that stage in my life. Like I was so focused on my career and just doing me, enjoying my single life. I didn't even really know that I wanted children until I finally got married. But yeah, then I was told that I couldn't have it, and that just like rocked my world. But what was really, really amazing about it is my husband is a very faith-filled person. It's why I married him, and it's how we connected and everything. But he actually said, you know what, we're going to take the doctor's report. He literally took the paper, and on the back of it, he wrote all these scriptures and the promises of God that says, you know what? Doctors say one thing, but God says something else. And so we would pray over that. And when I say we, I should more so say he, because his faith was a lot stronger than mine during that season. At first I was very encouraged by him, but then like as time went on, and you go like a year and still nothing, my faith was very, very low. I was actually really angry at times and sometimes be like, oh, I wish this man would stop talking about us having our own children. Like it just kept reminding me of what I felt like people said I could not do because it was past that timeline for me to be able to do it, right? And so it was discouraging whenever he would bring it up for me, even though he was trying to be helpful and encouraging. And so he just kept the faith going and stuff. So I should say that he mostly prayed for a while because I was over it and I was even kind of angry with him, like I said, that he kept on bringing it up because he's very faithful. But lo and behold, no IVF, no adoption. We ended up getting pregnant, and then I gave birth to my first child. Yes, and so my son actually just turned 1, and so he's 1 year old now. I can't believe it. I gave birth to a child. I was like 43 years old. It's amazing, yeah. So yeah. And so when you think about, and that's not part of the human timeline, that's not part of what people usually assume should happen, and what doctors will tell you, what social media will tell you, what just what's published about what is a woman's clock supposed to be like, and even just your mindset, like the different things that you see in the media. You don't see like older people like myself with young babies. You always see like young people, right? Like that's like the whole dream. But that's not the timeline that was for my life. And so, and it still works. It still works. It's amazing. Like I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. But what I would say is, if you're at a season in your life where you feel like, I'm this age, so I should have accomplished this, right? Maybe you should have been in a certain place in your career. Maybe you should have had a certain relationship. Maybe you should have a certain amount of money in the bank. Maybe you should have no longer been struggling with a certain struggle that you have. If you're a teacher, maybe it's classroom management, or maybe, I don't know, whatever it is. If you've been in school for a long time and you just haven't been able to yet finish your degree, I put yet in there because I think it is so important to always keep that open window that it can still happen. It just hasn't happened yet. So when we talk about timelines are, I mean, it's good so that you're just not hopelessly aiming around that and people talk about SMART goals all the time, right? And even I, as part of like one of our workshops that we do, is we do SMART goal setting with people, and it's good to have a goal and it's good to have timelines. It has to be time defined, otherwise it's not a goal, it's just wishful thinking. You have to have some type of a time on there. But what I want to say to you about timelines is, don't be discouraged if what you felt like should have happened in a certain timeline hasn't happened yet, because that doesn't mean that it hasn't happened and it won't happen at all. It could just mean that that's not your season and not your time yet. And when we talk about seasons and times, one of the biggest lessons I've learned, I'm always learning so many things by being a mother, and I've only been a mother for like a year now. But one of the things that I've learned, like when I think about my son, right? My son came prematurely. He came a little bit early, right? Not super early. He was just like 3 weeks early. So, but what I thought about with that, and when you think about timelines, like the doctors can give you the estimate, this is about when they should come, this is about this, but my son had his own timeline, and even though he came earlier than expected, it was okay. And even sometimes there are babies who come later than expected, and that's okay. And sometimes there are babies who come right on the designated time, and that's okay too. But what I want you to be encouraged by is, if something has not met your expectations when it comes to a timeline, that it doesn't mean that it won't happen. It doesn't mean that it's just over for me. It simply means that it hasn't happened yet. But don't lose hope and don't lose faith. Okay? What you can do in the interim, and I'll talk to you about some of the things that I did in the interim when I was waiting. And like I said, it's natural. It's totally natural for you to feel discouraged, because like I said, I felt discouraged. I felt frustrated with my husband, always being like, we're gonna have our own kid, and I'm like, bro, we've been trying for how long? But anyway, but some of the things that you can do when you're in that season of waiting, when things haven't hit your timeline yet, is like, number one, I would say is you can refocus your thoughts, and you can put your focus on other areas, okay, at that time. And again, don't forget about it, but can you focus on some other things as well to enhance your life? All right. Another thing that you can do as well during that season of waiting is you can speak with other people who've been through similar struggles. So for me, it was very encouraging when I would listen to stories, and I would have friends who were like of strong faith and things. They would send me stories about people who had children later in life, even when doctors said no. And just hearing those testimonies. So I would also say, seek out encouragement, because you can totally be discouraged, just like if you're carrying and you're pregnant, right? Like you try to stay away from people who might be smoking, because you don't want to breathe in smoke inhalation. Or you might also stay away from things like, oh, okay, one of the things I really missed when I was pregnant was eating my sandwiches. Like, I'm a soup, salad, and sandwich girl when it comes to lunchtime, and I couldn't eat cold cut sandwiches anymore. Everything had to be warm. So sometimes there are things that you have to avoid when you're going through a season of transition and incubation, where you're still waiting for that thing to occur, whatever that thing is. And so, yeah, that's what I would encourage you to when you're going through that season of waiting. So yeah, that's what I encourage you guys with. Okay. But anyway, I want to talk to you about timelines, because timelines can be very discouraging for people. And I wanted to encourage you that if something hasn't occurred in your timeline, it's okay, because that's your timeline. You can set a timeline, you can make a plan, but at the end of the day, you still have to walk through those different steps, and those steps aren't defined by you. Okay. And so sometimes you just need to do something else in the interim. All right. And make sure you're surrounding yourself, like I said, with positive people, not around negative things, just like you wouldn't be around secondhand smoke, just like there are certain things that you wouldn't take in while you're pregnant because it's harmful. So it's harmful to you when you are in a season of transition and the timeline hasn't met yet for you to be around things that are harmful or negative. So steer clear of those. Okay. That's my encouragement for you today. I talked kind of long today. I'm so sorry. I try to keep these videos short. But anyway, I just want to talk to you guys about that today. All right. I hope it was helpful for you. For all of my stars out there, I hope that you keep on shining. If this was helpful, make sure that you give us a like, share, or subscribe. Okay. And I will chat with you all later. I'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.